Todd Huff.
You know, last night or yesterday sometime, I was flipping through Twitter, saw that Franklin Graham was trending. For those of you who don't know, Franklin Graham is the son of the late Billy Graham, the evangelist. Franklin Graham is an evangelist as well, but Franklin Graham has gotten involved a lot more in the political discussion, the political fray, than his father, Billy, ever did. Billy Graham stayed, from my recollection and vantage point, out of it completely. But Franklin Graham tweeted yesterday that the Republicans who betrayed President Trump, he made an analogy to Judas betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. But let me tell you, for those of you in this audience this morning that are Christians who have ever been concerned about your salvation, did you know that Twitter can help? Twitter can help. I learned this last night. I'm going to read you this tweet in a moment and then get started into something I've been chewing on for a bit here. But if you're interested in how much you can make in the terms of money, how much you can earn and still be considered a Christian, or maybe you want to know if your soul is secure if you are a MAGA supporter, any of those describe you, you are in luck. There's a lady on Twitter that will judge you. In fact, I retweeted this late last night. Her name is Amy Holden Jones. If you read her description on Twitter, it says she's a screenwriter of Mystic Pizza, which sums it all up pretty well to me. She says this: never forget Franklin Graham takes $600,000 per year in salary from his charity. This is only a small part of his total income. He's a charlatan, a con artist. Like the traitor he supports, he's no Christian. So there you go. You can turn to Twitter and she will judge you. She will tell you. That reminds me, by the way, welcome to the program. I am your host, Todd Huff. Email, if you want to email me your thoughts, questions, opinions. And I know there's actually a whole lot, and I owe some of you responses, and I've gotten to some of the things that have been messaged to me through email or social media or wherever you're reaching out to me. I do see those and I respond. Anything that's genuine and sincere from someone who really wants to have a dialogue. If you are one of the very, very, very few who are some sort of putz, I don't even read it. So I don't know what you said, because if you've made the putz list, you don't even get looked at. But that's 99.999% of you don't fall into that category. Anyway, I'll get back. I'll do my best. But if you want to email me with your questions, thoughts, and so forth, and including your adoration and praise, you can always do that by emailing me, todd@toddhuffshow.com. Talking about what I just mentioned off the top. You know, I am a conservative Christian, and that's what we're going to get into today, because apparently it's okay to talk about faith and politics and the intersection thereof. Again, the left has given us a temporary reprieve from the normal don't talk about that. You've got to separate those two things into two completely different worlds. And no, I'm not someone who believes that. I'm not someone who believes in forcing people to adhere to my faith. That's not it. But to say that faith must be completely absent from the public square is also not the truth as well. But anyhow, talking about the security of salvation, questioning whether or not you are sincere in your faith. It reminds me, when I was a young believer, I grew up in a good home. I had great parents, still good people, but we didn't go to church. I didn't hear anything about Jesus until I was, literally, I went to VBS, I think, once or twice as a child. I went to church occasionally at my grandmother's church, but I didn't know anything. I didn't really hear the gospel until I was 15 years old, and a group of people put on an event the group was called Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and the event was in Marshall, Indiana. And that was the first I'd ever heard the gospel. And I remember as a young believer having accepted that and made a profession of faith back in 1993. I remember there for the first little bit as a Christian, wondering if I was sincere in my faith. Did I really mean that? Was I just caught up in the moment? This went on for a long time. So anytime they did an altar call, I was up there. I prayed the sinner's prayer, the prayer of salvation, if you will, so many times. And it occurred to me one day, and hopefully this will help anyone out there who maybe feels the same way. It's a natural thing. In fact, my best friend and I, he felt the same way 20 some years ago as well. I realized that if, either I realized it, or I guess you could say God revealed to me this truth, that if I'm that concerned about whether I'm sincere, then it's probably genuine. If it's insincere, you don't spend hours upon hours questioning your sincerity, right? I mean, that's just not the way you do it. If you forget about it and think, oh yeah, did I really mean that? That's a different thing. But if you're sitting there wrestling with it day in and day out, it's probably a genuine thing, and you can rest assured that you are, in my opinion, it always comes down to the individual, but sincere in your faith. Anyway, your salvation, my salvation, Franklin Graham's salvation is between you and God. I mean, yes, it's true that we will be known by our fruit, but we're not the judges. No matter what this lady on Twitter thinks, or Facebook, or Jack Dorsey, by the way. Don't want to get off the beaten path here too far, but Jack Dorsey has been exposed to a degree by James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, some whistleblower. We'll see if the left and the media praise this whistleblower. But this whistleblower was recording calls, I guess Zoom calls or some such things, company calls with Jack Dorsey, and has released some of those. I'm sure more things are to come. But Jack Dorsey, it's a crazy thing to listen to. It's almost, some of the things that he had said, that it just doesn't line up. It's almost as though he's got a political agenda, but he doesn't want to damage his platform, but yet he took the decision to damage his platform anyway because the politics were too important to him. I don't have time to get into that, but you can. In fact, maybe we'll have, maybe I'll have Pedals later today post a little bit, that clip of that expose, or you can Google Project Veritas on Twitter, and I'm sure you'll find it as well. But anyway, I'm going to stay on this issue of religion. Now, for those of you who aren't religious, just hang in there, because I think there's a part of this discussion that you'll need to hear as well. This isn't going to be, this is not designed to be a sermon, but since the left has brought it up, and since the left, there's another tweet as well yesterday that I saw by a guy named David French. David French is an intellectual. I'm a conservative. I hesitate because I don't know what to think of people who are never Trumpers. I mean, I'm not trying to be provocative here, but if you find yourself voting for Biden or for Hillary in 2016, I can respect if you don't vote. I can respect if you have issues with Trump. I'm not. That's not even what this is about. But if you actually are casting ballots for the Democrat Party right now, and I don't mean rank and file your neighbor, I mean the ideology that is outlined and embraced by the radical left. That's who's running the Democrat Party right now. Make no mistake about it. There is still a fight for the party, because a lot of these folks have to go back to communities that are not radically left. I think of Tim Ryan in Ohio, for example. There's lots, Connor Lamb. But it doesn't mean, at the end of the day, they're still voting for their Speaker of the House to be Nancy Pelosi in most cases. They're still cool with whatever it is. Biden wants to spend another $1.9 trillion. COVID, you're going to quite possibly be on the list of getting an additional $1,400 per person, and all sorts of other things that are coming in that regard. Now, in fairness, spending with Trump and the Republican Senate Congress is where the spending is really supposed to be initiated, but all those parties involved, Senate, House, and President, have to be in agreement, and we've been on a spending spree, right? And lots of money to the point where, I mean, you rarely even hear about people talking about money. But anyway, this issue, to be able to identify as and vote for the radical agenda, the abortion perspective of the radical left, for a true conservative / even Christian conservative, it's problematic. The move towards socialism, Marxism, in fact. Marxism is the true antithesis, the exact opposite of a free society. Exact opposite. They don't even want... Marxism says you can't even believe in God. It outlaws the belief in God. So how can a Christian conservative choose that? And I'm sure there's all sorts of justification and so forth that says I'm not voting for all those things. I'm just not voting for the other side. I'm not voting for Trump and his tweets and his comments from 2006 or whatever it is. Anyway, it's just hard for me to understand that to some degree. I mean, on the other hand, I understand it completely, as you know, as your host here. But I'm just kind of sharing with you. I don't always, where these folks come from is sometimes a little bit problematic. David French being one of these. This is what he tweeted out yesterday. At the end of the day, this is true. Everything we know about leadership, Republicans threw away. Everything we know about character, Republican Christians. Yes, if you're a Republican Christian out there, you threw it in the garbage, says David French. They grievously hurt this nation. They grievously hurt their neighbors. May God have mercy. And there's a lot of... This is really the first thing that I saw yesterday as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today that piqued my interest about this concept of Republican Christians. And then the thing with Franklin Graham came up, and we have this lady on Twitter that can tell you if you are saved or not, if you have a sincere faith in Jesus. As she said, Franklin Graham does not. So, if you're concerned about that, you can tune into her and just tweet her, just see what she says, and I'm sure she'll be happy to judge you. Don't do that. I'm kidding, by the way. So it's okay to talk about faith in the public square again. But you know why it is? Because they think that they can use your conscience against you. You caused this, Christians. As David French here says, everything we know about leadership, Republicans threw away. Look, I'm not the first guy that's going to get on the bandwagon and talk about the leadership of the Republican Party. There's a lot. You hear me criticize the Republican Party regularly. I don't know if I say every day. I may not do that every day, but it's something that needs to be done. It is something that needs to be done. I mean, you've heard me voice my displeasure with our governor here in the state of Indiana. Hunker down, Hoosiers. We're all in this together. All this sort of meaningless drivel. Meanwhile, as we were facing a constitutional crisis, he's telling us to cheer on the Hoosiers and the Boilermakers and the Ball State Cardinals and Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and getting all sorts of different pictures in his gear, snapping and clapping, and I mean, just stuff that I just think, what in the world? This is embarrassing, number one. And number two, there are real problems, and you're not even pretending to act like you care about it. Same thing with Todd Young, senator from Indiana. Todd Young needs to be, we need to find a conservative to primary Todd Young. Todd Young has let this state down. He has let you down as a conservative. He's absent when it's time to lead. He's absent, completely absent, not there. I've experienced this personally with his team, and that needs to be. We need to remedy that. So I'm not standing up for Republican leadership, but I guess David French here is upset with Trump and the way Trump's led because Republicans threw things away. I guess David French was happier when the leadership of the Republican Party was was capitulating constantly, was apologizing constantly, was weak, was unprincipled in the sense of standing up to the media, to the nonsense that our government wanted to do. I guess he was okay with those days because that's candidly what we had before Donald J. Trump came in. Donald J. Trump helped Congress, Republican congressmen and senators, grow a backbone. He helped usher in more of these folks that are prepared to fight and fight hard. Or he stood alongside these folks like Jim Jordan, folks like Matt Gaetz. right? I mean, this is here for all of us to see. So I don't know how anyone threw leadership away. David, French Republicans did. I actually think Republicans threw it away a long time ago. And there's been some Republicans who actually want to fix things that are trying to revive it. And the party's saying, no, don't make us do it. That's how I see it. Then this nonsense here about everything we know about character, Republican Christians threw in the garbage. That's what he says. You threw it in the garbage if you're a Republican Christian. Now, it's funny to me how he talks about it. This, for what I understand, he's a professing Christian, so I don't know why he's talking about Republican Christians in the third party. Maybe he doesn't consider himself a Republican anymore. Surely he considers himself still a Christian. But he says they, right? He talks about... they grievously hurt this nation. They grievously hurt their neighbors. I happen to think the ideology of the left has hurt people in ways that are sometimes uncalculable. The welfare state, the socialist state, the state that says it is your God now. It'll take care of all your problems. Just trust it and vote for it. The deceit. Just take your pick. There's plenty of issues to look at here. But anyhow, these things have got me focused on this morning. So this is not a lecture or a sermon, I should say, but rather kind of a defense of or an explanation of constitutional conservatism, the role of faith, at least from my perspective, and I think many of your perspectives as well. But it's okay to talk about this now because the radical left now says it's okay, which means they think they can use this to politically defeat conservatism or Christianity. But nonetheless, I welcome the debate because when you get right down to it, outside of the people in your life, there's ultimately what matters is, God, people, and politics, and how we live on this side of heaven. I think when you get down to it, those are the things that matter: God, people, and how we live, which is politics. So happy to talk about this, but I got to take a time out. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more. The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Welcome back. By the way, this program is brought to you by our friends, in part by our friends at Smalling Masonry. Smalling Masonry actually came here, and they cleaned our chimney, and actually taught us. We bought this house, 2012. So it was the end of 2012, so a little over 8 years ago. And this house has a wood burning stove, I guess, if you will, a wood burner. And in addition to cleaning our chimney to make sure that we were burning fires safely, they also taught us that we weren't quite using that. This was a different type of wood burner, and Gary taught us how to properly use it. And I stinking love this thing. My wife has to listen to me constantly talk about how great this fireplace is. Anyway, if you have a fireplace, if you are needing to have your chimney cleaned or something, some work done along those lines, consider our friends at Smalling Masonry. You can call them at 888-388-1852, 888-388-1852, or visit them online at beechgrovemasonry.com. That's beechgrovemasonry.com. I want to look here at constitutional conservatism. I want to talk about this for a moment as we're going through. I don't know. There's a bit of an assault now. You know, you've gone through the election, and of course we all have our opinions and thoughts on that. We've gone through all of the tensions and everything that happened post-election, and we all have our thoughts on that. We had what happened last week at the Capitol, and everyone blaming Trump and Republicans. We have now 10 Republicans in the House that voted to impeach President Trump, who, by the way, is leaving office January 20th. That's the plan, right? Here we are just a few days from that, and yet they're trying to impeach him. And that's why yesterday I talked about payback politics. Get ready for payback politics. They're going to make Trump or anyone who stood by Trump face the consequences of that politically. Payback politics is really what the radical left, I don't want to say is best at, because I think they're best at deceiving people and coming up with really terrible ideas. But right up there near the top of that is retribution, payback politics. So We talked about that yesterday. By the way, you can listen to old programs. They are encore episodes of this program by going to our website, or you can subscribe to our podcast, which is totally free, so you can have that content all the time. Encourage you to do that because, look, I mean, at any moment, where if you listen to us or connect with us on social media, there's a risk that that's going to be broken. That's why you should also think of signing up for our newsletter, free also. Anyway, so there's this focus on republicanism, conservatism. Republicans have lost the Senate, and I know there's a whole litany of things to discuss there. Blah blah blah. They don't have control of the House. They lost the White House according to this election. Now there's almost like this post-mortem report, right? I mean, this is almost like an autopsy report. What happened, and people are criticizing and saying what's wrong, what needs fixed, and all this sort of thing. And I think this is a great time to review what constitutional conservatism is, and as we've been talking about as well, tying in this concept of the Christian part, because there's articles. I've had a buddy sending me articles and asking my opinion on this discussion of Christian nationalism and how terrible Christian nationalism is and all this sort of stuff. I want to try to tie all that together here in the latter half of the program. So we're going to talk about constitutional conservatism. We're going to talk about this concept of Christian nationalism. What does that mean? How do I view the intersection of faith and ideology? Why this all matters to you in a free country that's built upon liberty, that's built upon freedom, that is built upon the idea that we are created by God with inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And this concept, diverted from the normal path. No longer were we considered subjects to the king. We were considered citizens and free people who had the opportunity to live their lives, to live our lives however we saw fit, and to follow our dreams and ambitions and passions, and to do that. And that's how we were created to live this side of heaven. That's why this matters so much to me. The radical left thinks that you're an idiot. You can't manage your own life. You create your own problems. If only people like them would be in positions of power, then they could fix everyone's issues, because people are morons and they're smarter than everybody else. This is what they think. And it's really the it's really an anti-God state of mind. I'm not saying you can't be, don't misunderstand, Christian and a liberal. I'm saying that mindset is not the mindset that God wants us to have. So this is why I think the religion discussion matters to me today. If you're ever in a position where you say, hey, look, I'm on the scene now, all problems are, I'm not saying you shouldn't be confident, but I'm on the scene, I'm going to fix your problems, you stupid second-class citizen. If that's ever your mindset, you can rest assured that that's not the mindset that Christ talked about. He says, consider others, better than yourself. Don't act like you got all the problems, or solutions to all the problems. Pride comes before the fall as well. So we'll get to those things here in the latter half of the program. Timeout is needed, though. Sit tight, back here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Problems in the bedroom? Not that kind. Bed bugs. At Integrated Pest Control, we make sure you never have to worry about any pests in your home or business again. We are the bed bug specialists with over 20 years of combined experience. Our promise is to keep your home or business completely pest-free for 90 days, or we will retreat the area absolutely free. Visit IntegratedPestControlLLC.com or call 317-349-0094 for your free bed bug inspection.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Welcome back, my friends. So let's talk about constitutional conservatism. I learned in Sunday school about 25 years ago, and thank you, Jim, for teaching this to me. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, known as the Mounties. One of the things that they do is they identify phony currency. Right, currency that's not legitimate, not officially, printed and backed by the government of Canada. It is faked. It is fabricated. Right, it's not real, and it's counterfeit. So, what they do to study how to identify it, you might think at first that they study all the nuances and differences between the mistakes people make when they try to counterfeit something. Now, they might be aware of that. I don't want to say that they're not aware of it, but what makes them the reason they're good at spotting counterfeits is because they study the real thing. So I want you to think about that. They study the real thing, and they know that anything that doesn't look like that isn't real, isn't true. And so there's all these different terms in government today. And I'm going to tell you, nobody knows, not even political science people. They want you to think they know, but nobody knows what these things mean in practice. They might know what they mean in the faculty lounge, what they technically mean. I don't mean that, but in reality, no one knows what anything means because people don't know what they mean, and people are using these things. For example, I had a guy, a friend of mine, who told me he's a classical liberal while telling me how awesome socialism is. Right? So, I mean, I think conservatives are the classical liberal of the day. These were limited government folks. These were pro-individual right and, people that believed in the rights of the individual. I had another guy who's confused as can be. One moment he's a rabid liberal, the next he's a libertarian, the next believes he's some form of a conservative, and then he tells me he prefers candidates who are in the establishment of the Republican Party. My point is that it's easy to get confused, and I would say don't get down. Like, for example, we started talking about Christian nationalism, which we'll touch on here, time permitting, here at the end of the program. But I would say to you, don't get so caught up in that and what the terminology is. I'm going to tell you what I mean when I say constitutional conservatism, and I think that, whether you agree completely with this or not, and just as a disclaimer, you absolutely should, wink, wink. But constitutional conservatism, when I say it, this is what I mean. I mean that throughout history, governments oppressed people. Governments viewed, in most cases, the people as some sort of a servant or a subject to itself, right? This is a common sort of approach. And that's why there was this arrogance and condescension that often flows from the ruling class, which we have today too, but it's for different reasons. These folks were appointed. In fact, many of them they believed appointed by God to be king, and they would make their decrees. And there's some horrible stories throughout history, some really terrible people and some atrocious things that happened. And our founders lived under that. And so they understood through reading philosophical works, by understanding Judean-Christian principles and values, which this nation is at its core rooted in Judean-Christian principles and values. You don't have to become a Christian in this country, but it is true that the principles, the foundations of the Judean-Christian belief system, the system of morality and right and wrong, at least, is based. Our nation is rooted in that. Western civilization, common law, some things. This was a progress over centuries, right? People moving from oppression to what we have today, which we have to combat those who try to take away our freedoms, but we still can live our lives much more freely than the vast, vast, vast majority of people who have ever walked this planet. And so the founders came up with this notion that said, again, you are citizens, not subjects. You have rights that are given to you not by the person in office, not by whether in the case of when they first got together, it was under the King of England. That dude doesn't give you your rights. Your rights come from God. If that sucker in England tries to tell you can't do something, he's taking away what God has freely given you. We cannot allow that. That's the idea. And when I talk about this nation was built upon a fantastic foundation, that is what I'm talking about. The ideas that talk about your right to free speech, your right to protect yourself by keeping and bearing arms, your right to have your own thoughts and opinions and beliefs and desires and goals and objectives. The government can't do that for you, and that's what governments were seeking to do for such a long time, was to try to organize and structure and force society into the direction that they thought that society should go, instead of letting people live their lives and understanding, as Adam Smith taught us, that there's an invisible hand. That invisible hand is when people are living their lives, they realize that by coming together through free markets, free associations, and helping each other get them what they need, they can then in turn use the proceeds, right, the profits from what they provided one person, to then use that money to help themselves in the area that matters to them. So this trading, it actually brings people together And by people looking to work in their own self-interest, not selfishness, not my preference at the sake of everybody else's, but focused on what I want to do and how can I cooperate with others to move in that direction. This is a good thing, and that is what our nation, the idea of constitutional conservatism, is rooted in and based upon. So I got more about this, but I've got to take a break. The clock is telling me it is time. Actually, Oz is over here telling me it's time, and she's right. Sit tight. We'll talk more about this when we get back. See you here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hi, this is Caleb with Bluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Bluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Bluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call. 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
Folks, it is tax time. It is tax time. You got to get your taxes done. When you're looking for a professional to help you do that, consider our friends at Midwest Tax Group. You can find out more by visiting their website, mwtaxgroup.com. That's MW for Midwest, mwtaxgroup.com. or call them at 317-288-5260, 317-288-5260. Let's get back to talking about constitutional conservatism. So we got this idea, this notion, your rights come from God, not from government. That means they're unalienable. That means that you have them no matter what the government says, no matter what gyrations or arguments or whatever they come up with, these rights exist. The government can head fake and rant and rave and scream, but you have these rights. It's also why this idea says that we're a republic. We're not simply majority rule. See, majority rule, you've heard the Ben Franklin analogy. Democracy is, what is it, two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. A republic is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner, but the sheep is armed and is contesting the results. So the idea of a democracy, a pure democracy, which is what we've been told that we have, which we do not. We have a constitutional republic, which certainly has democratic, aspects. But the idea of a republic reflects it gives a built-in protection for these rights. These rights were then taken, not all of our rights, but some of our rights were enumerated in the Constitution. They were written down. And so what it basically said is, hey, government, we know that throughout the history of the world that governments grow. This is the natural, anything that humankind, to reflect, I'm not intending to assign a gender to that. Humankind, we're made in the image of God. God's a creator. God's a builder. And so we build and create. And government is something that we've built and created as well. But we understand that government that grows too big is not good. So the founders said, hey, in order to restrict this idea of the natural inclination of humankind to build things, we want to put restrictions and say these are the lanes. This is the lane you've got to stay in, because if you get too big, you become a threat to people and their liberty. And suddenly you're so big that you try to assert yourself as God, and you say that we're the givers of rights, not Almighty God. And so we have to write these things down in a constitution, and we should all know these, and we should understand that is not intended to be a full list of freedoms and liberties, but rather a full explanation of what the federal government has been charged with doing. And so we have this concept, right? This it's clearly articulated and right before our eyes. And so the idea of being a constitutional conservative is saying that I believe in that document. I believe in the ideas that are behind it. I believe not just in the Constitution, but also in the Declaration. I understand what the founders were fighting against. I understand what they were standing for. And it is absolutely 100% correct. They were not flawless and blameless and without sin, and they certainly made mistakes, big mistakes, things that we argue about as far as whether or not that corrupts the whole system or not. In particular, slavery. They didn't fix that problem back then. They made a mistake, and it was wrong, and the bad, terrible, awful things happened. It has been fixed. But the point here is that conservatism means that we understand that the government needs to stay small, that freedom needs to remain big, that the individual, not the state, is what needs to is what needs to be focused on. We're a nation of individuals. We're not a nation of subjects that are designed to be pawns by the political class. And so that's where we are. So then you have concepts like Christian nationalism come up. I don't have time to get into this. Christian nationalism and all these other things. But the point is, understand the ideology that you adhere to first, so that when someone comes along and tries to make some sort of a nuanced argument, you don't even understand the terms, don't get caught up in that. Just say, look, you can say, define words, whatever you want to say. I'm not even going to go down those paths. This is what I believe, and this is why. And we have to be able to articulate that. And I'm telling you, it connects with people on such a level because it reflects what they know inside. They just need to be told that because sometimes they can't articulate it, but it's an attractive thing. Gotta go. Timeout is in order. Be back here in just a minute. Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter. To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Why would you call a company called Commercial Service for your home heating, cooling, and plumbing? Same question I had, because they have provided over 70 years of quality service and trained products for both homes and businesses in Central Indiana. It's hard to stop Commercial Service, and it's hard to stop a train. Give them a call. I'm glad I did.
Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
Do you have 10 years of construction experience? Reformation LLC specializes in residential construction and is looking for a mentor and team leader to fill a general superintendent position. Our company was founded to provide training and mentoring to individuals coming out of substance abuse addiction. We believe your past doesn't dictate your future. If you have experience, we have a place for you at Reformation. We have a passion for seeing lives and homes transformed. Contact us today at reformationllc.com or 317-643-1952.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 down, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Welcome back. Look, when you get down to it, this nation is great because of you and the ideas that we have, because of the individual, not because we have master, manipulators of people or managers of society in Washington, D.C. That is not why. You make this country great. That's what it is. It's the individual, the American. And it's also important. That's why I think, as a Christian, we tap into our true greatness when we connect with God, because that's our source of all goodness. So that's where they intersect, folks. I've got to go. SDG, see you Monday. Take care.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout Central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.